Okay. Hello and welcome. First of all, I wanna speak about last week. I wanna recap last week a bit, especially for the teams that are relevant. Then I will speak a bit about the players that I think the teams that will win, and I think the players that will do good. And then I will show a tier list and shit. And yeah, today I'm a bit more prepared, so I'm not yapping all over the place. We start with LTA North. I think LTA North was no major. How do you say? There was no major upset. I think everything goes how it was planned. Shopify winning against 100 Thieves, I think the toughest to call in my opinion. Then Flycrest stomped Lion, and C9 also stomped Team Liquid, and you had a relatively, I think DSG did a lot better than Dink. You know, for the teams that are relevant here, again, Flyquest played very good. Shopify, struggled a bit, and C9 played also very good. I think that makes Fly and C9 already very high favorites to winning, because Shopify was very Shopify won every game, but they did not won cleanly against the teams everyone else stomped cleanly. FlyQuest so far looks like the best team in the region. I think FlyQuest 9 will be a very interesting matchup, but this is I think Team Liquid lost against Lion, lost against 9. Looks very weak. When we're going into the south, we had a bit more interesting stuff happening. So Furia won against VKS. I thought so, because Trimby was on vacation, not vacation, but had family issues to attend, and it looked like he could have some issues coming back, and it looked like it. I think my biggest fumble in prediction was Loud Isurus. If you look in the past, I think it is fair to say that Loud had better chances. But anyways, Lev played convincingly against Fluxo, but Fluxo also Giga Griefed, and then we had Red stomping Pain. I think this is the biggest thing that I've I was hopeful that Red could have a good showing, but this stomp was crazy, and as far as I know, even someone from Red said when they chose Pain, I'm not sure who, that they choose Pain again because they are surprised how easy it was. And yeah, with that, we're coming to my list. Boom. We have first matchup. We have Cloud9 against Shopify. I think this is there is no doubt in my mind that Cloud9 will win. I think Shopify had a very rough season. They played against a lot of the bottom teams in rough style, and Cloud9 stomped their way through. I think players to watch here are especially Sven. I think he always did a good showing. He could go completely crazy here. I think Vulcan too. Vulcan also always seems to do a good job. I know that the one game here, the first game against Liquid, was not so clean, but every other game, wow. And I think another player I would highlight is Thanatos. Thanatos, I think Fudge doesn't look too good, He struggled as well against Photon, but more than Thanatos, so I think Thanatos will snap here. Yeah, I think what champions predictions on those three would be, Sven played a lot of Yunara, and Yunara seems to be very good. So if he gets Yunara, I would think Sven could do murder with it. But on the other hand, so far he has not played it, but would give you an extra point if Yunara now is picked, because the multiplier is higher. Else I think Sven has picked every series a different champion every game. I don't think he will get Varus again. It's a crime that Varus was even open. It's funny that they lost a game. Am I stupid? If I... Huh? Yeah, this side is a bit weird. They for sure won this game, but whatever. And he looks also very good, but I think, you know, Varus they probably won't get. Like Silver is okay, like everything. I think Senna, you know, I'm not sure if they will play Senna again because it is so long ago. But I think like Corki, Silver, Ezreal, maybe Jin, you know, you could pick up. On Vulcan, I have decided to say that he probably will pick Alistar. The reason for this is that Alistar is like, he likes to pick Alistar a lot. He played Alistar, I think, a lot in solo queue. And he looks very good, you know? And I think Theo's favorite pick is not the Alistar, but the Rel. So would be a good matchup too. So yeah. But the Nico would also be a valid choice, you know, and every other support that he played would be a valid choice. Also, Alistar got not nerfed, but Rel did, so I mean, you know, like at least the patch they will play on, you know, Rel will be nerfed and Alistar will be not nerfed. So that's it. And Thanatos, I think, you know, Thanatos you can just give champions that are first pickable. I think I have not mentioned Rumble, because, you know, like Gwen Ambessa, he played Gwen a lot on solo queue, he has not played it yet, so I would, you know, not put my hands in the fire, but I think Rumble is a very good one. I think, yeah, the Ambessa is very good, the Gwen could be also very good. I would personally pick Rumble, I think, because he had played it so much. Okay. Shopify, I recommend B-Boy. B-Boy is, you know, he always looks solid, even in the games they lose. So I think if someone of Shopify is looking solid, then it's B-Boy, but he's also very pricey. So I probably, you know, if you think Shopify can win, you should pick up B-Boy. And I think B-Boy is Ezreal lover. This is like his most played champion. So I think, you know, he will drop a bomb on Ezreal if he gets it and wins. Else I would just recommend picking any of the champions he likes to play. Maybe not Lucian, but like Silver and Corki are for sure good pickups for him. Yeah, let's go to FlyQuest Team Liquid. Yeah, first of all, I want to say Team Liquid's season was so far off. I know they won against 100 Thieves, but they look like a not, like, you know, not so good team. They lost against Lion. Lion had a very hard schedule, and they lost against C9 in convincing fashion. Relatively convincing fashion. So I think they will lose again. But I also think that a lot of the players from Liquid are struggling in the games, you know, to get points. Let's say it like this. And I think one motherfucker that never struggles is this guy. Wow, Beepo, what a man. You know, Beepo's pick, I have decided, you know, you could either go the Ambessa or the Rumble. Did I say Ambessa? Yeah, Rumble Ambessa. But I think also you can go for the Beepo spice, you know? Beepo likes to play tanks. So maybe in that direction, maybe he plays a Sign, a Cassandra. You could play like one of his counter picks you can get a lot of points with. Fudge is a player that has, you know, plays a lot of. In the third game, he tends to play some champions, but no Ornn and shit. So, you know, I'm not sure if people will pick Spice, but he could. So you could gain a lot of points with it. Next player I will recommend is Inspired. I think Inspired is very good. He played very good against Lion. He had like his not so good game on points wise here. Played he looked very good. I will recommend two things. First of all, I would recommend picking Sinchao because this seems like his most played champion. Else I would just pick any of the champions that do stuff like Wukong, Seju, you know, maybe Skarner even you could, but rather not. And one thing I want to mention here, I think the patch they are playing on will be the patch where Nautilus is buffed. And Inspire played so far. On his solo queue account, he tends to play Nautilus when he is like not playing jungle. So I think Nautilus could be, if Nautilus is giga strong, you know, if we are here sitting at our computers and thinking that Nautilus is very strong, then when the buff comes out, then I think he will play it because he played tanks before. And Nautilus, if you pick him up, you know, this Nautilus champion gives 1.7. Where is it? Am I stupid? Yeah, I am. This Nautilus champion would give 1.7 points, and if this champion is broken, Inspired will go giga hard on it. So I think Nautilus could be, you know, a lot of points worth. But if you don't want to risk it, goes in. On Team Liquid, I would recommend picking the bot lane if you think, because I think Yeon looked every game kind of good, you know, kind of okay, even the games he lost. He looked against Cloud9, he looked kind of fire. Against Lion, not so much, you know, but if Team Liquid wins, then Yeon is Giga smurfing. I think Yunara and Kaiser are the champions you should look for. Obviously, every other champion he played, he could be as well. But I think these are the champions he will probably play the most. And obviously, it's already his most played champions. He likes to play the champion solo queue, so, you know. And then we have Core JJ. Core JJ, I would recommend picking, you know, Core JJ also did kind of okay and is always very important for Team Liquid's victories. He likes to play Alistar a lot. I think Alistar right now, again, as a champion, it will probably get picked a lot. And he liked Renata a lot, and I think Cloud9 will be very aggressive, and I think their Renata can very shine, and then CoreJJ could have a good Renata game. Else, I think he could also, you know, I don't think that this will happen, but CoreJJ likes to play champions like Bard, for example, or Pyke and solo queue and Pantheon and shit. So I could see him bring up one of these, but I would highly doubt it actually, because you know, maybe they do to throw curveball in. So that's that. Let's go to the LTA South. First we have Furia against VKS. What was a very close matchup. I think Furia should clear this, but I could see it going either way, because I think a big reason why VKS probably could not win and played a bit worse than it should have is the whole Frimby thing, and maybe it's a bit more refreshed now a week later. So I would argue that there is maybe a world where VKS wins. At least I'm not as sure as any other matchups. Anyways, if you want to pick one up, then you should look at this man, the youngler Tatu. He did phenomenal last week against VKS, and I would argue he will do phenomenal again. A champion that I would recommend is obviously anything he played. He likes obviously to play the meta like Sin and Wukong and Vi. He also likes to maybe hit the Scanner. I'm not sure if we will see it again, but it was a clean game, you could say. Something I have written down is the Yex. I think Tatu's favorite champion, in solo queue at least, is Yex. He still plays it a lot. And he already brung it out against... I think he played it against Sin. If I remember correctly, he played against Sin, and all the Jax youngles were also picked against Sin. And the youngler of this team likes to play Sin. Diziamas. I cannot pronounce his name, I'm sorry. Likes to play Sin, so maybe Yex comes out and destroys his day. Maybe not, you know, we will see. Yeah. Ayu could also see picking Ayu up. I think Ayu was for sure not as good as Tatu's. I cannot speak Tatu, but he dropped a bomb, you know? He dropped a bomb. And that's it, you know? He could drop another bomb. Maybe not. I would pick Yunara Kaiser, is not my first choice, but yeah. I would not pick Tuts. I think Tuts, you know? If he, he just isn't. I think he has not performed the split point-wise very good, so, you know, I would keep my hands off it. Fallout, I think, Fallout for VKS, I think, you know, they have solid players that play okay. I would not recommend picking a Bowl. I think Mateus and Dismas are both okay. Mateus, you know, you could, I have like Ezreal, Yunara, Jin, Corki are champions you could pick. You know, he will probably perform okay even if they lose. So, yeah. I think Mateus... Oh, I need to go bot lane. My bad. Mateus will probably do fine. You know, whatever the circumstances, he will probably look fine. This is for a lot of AD carries the case, you know. Diziamas, I think, you know, as again already said, he likes to play Xin Chao. He has already a lot of other champions. And he also likes to play Lee Sin, at least in solo queue. So maybe that's something he will bring out. But I probably doubt it. I think Sin is the most reliable choice here to pick. The other matchup, Red against Pain, I think is a lot more interesting because Red had like, you know, dropped the game 2-0, dropped the game against Loud, but Loud actually a good team, you know. I think one of the teams that could still make it, you know, I believe, you know, they're fighting at least, and dropped a 2-0 to Pain. But I think it's crazy. No one has expected this, and for that reason, I think if like you think, you know, there are two things ways that can go. They could go the exact same way, you know. It could be like that Pain learned a lesson and bounces back, and it could be that like Red just, you know, that Pain is mental blocked and they lose Ivara. I think Pain's drafts look very fraudulent, and I honestly think you could pick up every one of the Red roster, but I want to mention 3 players in particular. First is Kaza. Kaza is a machine, you know, he drops int games, but he drops more bombs than int games. Therefore, I would give him Silas or every other champion that do shit. Don't pick your Kaza with any. I think any like champions like this are not his speciality, but I think every champion that is like making plays, holy shit, give him a silence, you know. I think Aurora could be also a very strong champion for Kaza, but he was banned so far. I think at least in the Pain series was banned every game, even by Red, by the way, when they had no first pick. So she will probably not come through, but maybe they will ban Silas now too because he looked enormous on him. Yeah, other players I would is the bot lane, you know. Rabello is, you know, just overall, I think Rabello looked kind of good. He like dropped Giga Bombs. So I think, I don't know why Varus is open, by the way. This is crazy. He dropped Giga Bombs, so I think picking him, you know, no shot. And picking him again because he was so good against Pain. What points are going? So, you know, I would think like the Ezreal Corki probably. And then we have Frosty. I think Frosty is a player that is he likes to do shit, you know? So give him a champion that do shit. You have like Nico, you have like Rakan, you have Leona, you have like Alistar, you have, you know, all these champions that do shit, I would give him. I think obviously, you know, I think champions like, yeah, that's it. That's my opinion. Opinion made. Yeah, and for left, I think, you know, for Pain, I mean, if you think Pain wins, then Titan probably your choice of player. I think he probably would not be my choice of player, since AD carries all played really good, but if Pain wins, then probably Titan will have a better day. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say what he picks, you know, he will probably play meta champion. There is nothing special in my mind right now for him. So, that is this. I also have created like a list where I think where I would rank every player, and I will speak about this real quick and give my opinion. I think on the top lane department, Beepo and Thanatos are players you should definitely look for. I think on the also FNB and Jujio are kind of fine. I think Visor, even when he loses, gets you decent points. I think Fudge we haven't seen, so like Fudge we don't really have seen losing, so I don't know. And Impact and Bolt do really don't look good. Yeah. And you know, Gankos. You could pick up Gankos and get your free Beepo, and even if Gankos plays, I think since he only plays against Impact that I would rate really low this split, could still do fine, you know? In jungle, I think like Tatu, Inspired, and blah 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 bear are probably the best to pick up. I think like for my feelings-based analysis, put Tatu first, but I think all 3 of them are good pickups. I also think Doom is a good pickup, you know? I would not look as hard for him like as for those players personally. I think Disamis is also look kinda okay in the losses, so you know. I think it's, you know, if you have points left, you could pick him. Karyok and Yuji, I think I would not be so hot about them. But yeah, there's like I would not be in contracts. I would not pick. I would be very scared him going against Faber. I would be very scared. In mid lane, I think there's a clear cut because like there's a very clear cut for me. You know, Kaz and Loki are for me the best players that you should look up. Also, like a player like Loki has a free matchup. So you know, like Palafox looked really ass. Loki looked really good. So you know, I think Kaze, who's he playing? I've already forgotten that. Pain. Yeah, Roma looked like, you know, Roma, even if he loses, like all these players, if they win or they lose, they give you okay points, you know, they run games, they're not very impactful and point-wise. So I would not recommend them. But Kaz is playing against Roma that I personally don't like a lot. So, yeah, yeah. Take with that information what you want. 80 carries, I think everyone is kind of fine. You know, you have like the 80 carries that like Sven and Masu, I think, are proven good players. They probably will outperform their opposition in League of Legends a lot about 80 carries. That's why most 80 carries always get good points. I would look for them. Ravello obviously dropped the Giga Bomb, but you know, maybe Pain, like this tier list is like in mind that like Pain does not bounce back. But if Pain bounces back, then Rebello could be having a harder time. But I think he's also very cheap. Same here, by the way. Doom is very cheap. Rebello is also, I think, for his like value he can bring you is very cheap. So you know, yeah. Honestly, those 80 carries, you know, they always do fine. I think if you are thinking that maybe Team Liquid can win, then you should pick him. On support, it is like it's a bit like the 80 carry tier list. You know, you have a lot of champions players that are very good, like Vulcan, Buzio. It's like same for Maso and Sven. You know, Rusty looked always good this split, I think. So you know, and like, wait, why is Aryu here twice? This should not be Aryu. This should be Yo-Yo, I think. Anyways, yeah, I think these supports here, if their teams winning, then they are, no, I like those two. If the team is winning, they are both a big part of it. So if you're looking for Team Liquid or Shopify Rebellion wins, then those are the players you're looking for. Yeah. And yeah. Korean Trim, we have not, like, like, I don't think they're good. My general opinion is you should look to spend, I think, the most points for those players here, like on mid, 80 carry and support. And I think it is fine to take a budget top laner because they tend to play good even if they lose. You can also take maybe a different approach and take a budget 80 carry, but I think the issue is taking a budget 80 carry, you know, or an 80 carry that is not like likely to win. The 80 carries that win often drop Giga many points, so you know. Yeah. That is my opinion. I'm not sure. You know, this is all I have to say. You know, I will have it made it a bit shorter, I think, the recording. But, you know, this is everything I have to say. I think, I believe that this week it will be very spicy I think in the south, because like Furia and VKS was kind of close, and maybe VKS bounces back because Trimwheelinger there and Red the Pain was such a shocker that I'm like hyped to see if it just was a fluke. What I think in top is, you know, top is already, I feel like top is more ironed out, like north. The north is more ironed out than the south, in my opinion. But if you go 5 people from red and just got 40 bombs on every position, I would not be very wondered about this. In that case, I will wish you a very great night, evening, morning, whatever. And I hope you have a lot of fun watching the LTA. Until then, see ya.